talking points from Premier League weekend as Arsenal and Manchester United suffered defeats. Two of the Premier League's big hitters suffered defeats on the second weekend of Premier League action. Arsenal and Manchester United both have to pick up their pieces after coming unstuck at Chelsea and Brighton respectively. Champions Manchester City sent out a warning to the rest of the league with their 6-1 thrashing of Huddersfield. Tottenham overcame Fulham to put them on to 6 points, while Liverpool have to wait until Monday night before they face off against Crystal Palace. Elsewhere, there were wins for Watford, Bournemouth, Leicester and Everton. The only draw of the weekend was played out between Cardiff and Newcastle. Here are 10 talking points from the weekend. Where do you begin with Man United's defending? Shocking throughout a chaotic first half, and Eric Bailly was the worst of the bunch. The Ivorian kicked it into touch to give away the corner for the second goal and then failed to react quickly to the second ball coming back into the area, as Shane Duffy buried his finish. Then it was a woeful challenge on Pascal Gross, despite the Brighton man's poor first touch leading him away from goal, which conceded the penalty. Victor Lindelof was not much better with Glenn Murray, who is hardly blessed with pace, using clever movement to get in front of him to flick home the opener. With Marcos Rojo, Chris Smalling and Phil Jones all proving equally unreliable, it is a wonder why United failed to back Mourinho's judgment to buy another centre-back. Glenn Murray is like a fine wine as he continues to defy his age and further master the Premier League. Having failed to even play in the top tier until his late 20s, at 34 he comes off the back of his best season yet in the Premier League, 12 goals. What he lacks in pace and flamboyancy, he makes up for in wit and intelligence, like a golfer finally figuring out the intricacies of Augusta or St. Andrews. Clever movement and then a finish that would have been labeled as genius by more fashionable forwards, chipped with the outside of his boot into the far corner, further proved his ability to shine in the top tier. New Arsenal boss Unai Emery has endured a difficult start to life at the Emirates. Emery came under fire for his tactics in last weekend's defeat to Manchester City and was trolled by Chelsea fans when the Gunners found themselves 2 goals down. Arsenal sides in years gone by would have struggled to reverse the tide away to a top 6 rival, but Emery's men at least showed some character to get themselves back in the game before Alonso's winner. Eden Hazard showed his importance to Chelsea and the Premier League as a whole with a scintillating substitute performance against Arsenal. He laid on the winning goal for Marcos Alonso and afterwards insisted he was staying at Stamford Bridge, for now. Harry Kane had a strike ruled out and hit the crossbar before finally, at the 15th attempt, ending his bid for a first goal in the month of August. The England captain scored with 13 minutes remaining as Tottenham beat Fulham at Wembley. If you thought Manchester City were good last year, you've seen nothing yet. Okay, Huddersfield did not offer the sternest of oppositions on Sunday afternoon, but City were in absolutely rampant form with key players looking even stronger than they did last season. David Silva is meant to be slowing down this season, but he appeared more creative and more of a threat than ever before. Then you look at Sergio Aguero, as emphatic in front of goal as you will ever see. And that is before you look at the likes of Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sane and Riyad Mahrez who were on the bench. City are mesmerizing to watch and it will be a tough ask to stop them. Richarlison. So good they named him once. After an audacious finish in his first match for Everton, the Brazilian followed it up with another pearler against Southampton. After the false starts of Davy Klaassen, Wayne Rooney and even Gylfi Sigurdsson has the Gladys Street finally got a new alumni for the School of Science? Richarlison seems to sum up everything the Samler Dicero wasn't: fast, skillful, attacking with that little bit of arrogance thrown in. And to think people balked at the £50 million they paid for the Brazilian. I mean, for the same money you could have got, Fred. West Ham showed incredible ambition this summer in a bid to turn the corner as a club and take that leap to the next tier. All of that was deflated quickly on Saturday in their first home fixture of the new campaign as Bournemouth raided the London Stadium for all 3 points. It just goes to prove the transition will see some arduous moments and the Hammers faithful must be patient, no matter nearly spending £100 million. The Cherries provided a reality check that survival remains the immediate goal for this club. Now Manuel Pellegrini must allay any fears and prevent any panic from spiraling after 2 defeats to begin the season. Whether they feel like they deserve it or not, there is a bit of expectation on Burnley's shoulders this season. It will be near enough impossible for a club the size of Burnley to recreate their heroics of last season, but anything less will now be considered a little bit of a disappointment. Burnley's focus right now is quite rightly on the Europa League, but shipping 3 goals at home to Watford is alarming. More is needed, otherwise they are going to find themselves with a lot of work to do to retain their Premier League status. Brazilian winger Kennedy enjoyed a fine loan spell from Chelsea at Newcastle last season. On Saturday he endured a miserable day in Cardiff, failing to complete a pass in the first half. He also missed a stoppage-time penalty which would have earned victory for the Magpies and faces a retrospective ban for kicking out at Victor Camarasa.